The earthquakes in Battlefield 3 are one of the most memorable moments during the game's storyline. It serves as a major plot and turning point. The very first earthquake event begins during the campaign mission called Operation Swordbreaker. The main character, Henry Blackburn, and his squad of US military forces take part in the pacification operations in the Iran-Iraq region. Blackburn arrives with the 1st Reconnaissance Battalion, part of the Misfit 1-3 squad. After being ambushed by the PLR insurgents, the US forces get attacked outside, so when we meet back up with them, a large gun battle on large open streets begins. When we gain the advantage over the insurgents, a huge 8.1 magnitude earthquake hits Tehran. To everyone's surprise, almost the entire city is ruined as massive buildings collapse and crumble to the ground. A whole little bird chopper gets caught in the collapsing building. This earthquake sets the tone for the rest of the campaign and then influences part of Battlefield 3's multiplayer. It also shifts the focus of the game from standard military engagements to survival in a devastated city. The suddenness of the earthquake increases tension and adds a layer of unpredictability. After Operation Swordbreaker is over, Blackburn crawls out of the rubble and fights his way to extraction. Battlefield 3 featured a powerful game engine called Frostbite 2, which allowed for more dynamic destruction that we have become used to in the Battlefield series. It is also a precursor to the Levolution seen in later games like Battlefield 4. In BF3, the destruction is enhanced when the earthquake hit. With all the buildings and terrain being destroyed by players, the earthquake adds on more devastation on top of the existing carnage. It begins to influence the design of multiplayer maps in BF3. An entire DLC map pack was based on the aftermath of this earthquake. In this DLC, we learned that the initial earthquake hit about 170 miles southeast of Tehran, and it was felt all the way 350 miles near Salamania, Iraq, where Blackburn and his squad were deployed during Operation Swordbreaker. We can see physical signs of damage as the original crew of Battlefield 3 soldiers are bloodied and gauzed up. This was one of the first times in Battlefield where the crew of soldiers we play as are dressed differently. Most of the Russian and American crew removed their helmets and we got to see what the characters look like. The earthquake put a strain on both sides and it forced the soldiers into a worse survival situation. Along with improvised vehicles, the soldiers designed their own improvised crossbow using a malfunctioned M417 rifle, wire from cars and also scrap metal. The X-bow used up a gadget slot and was a nice one-hit close quarters weapon if you were accurate. To unlock the X-bow, players had to win 3 modes of Scavenger, which was a new game mode introduced to Battlefield 3. It was a version of Domination where everyone spawned with only a pistol and had to find weapons scattered across the map. The United States and Russian forces continue their fight for survival after a massive earthquake devastates everything and everyone. The War of 2014 brings urban combat in a ruined city. All the nameless soldiers on both sides feel the trauma. Many of them wounded, they continue to battle for territory across Iran. With the new combat environment, the use of makeshift equipment and weaponry is seen from both sides of the war, as themes of desperation for survival are depicted in this game. Regular transport vehicles, like both the American Humvee and the Russian Vodnik transport jeeps, get heavily modified with grenade launchers, a heavy machine gun and additional armor, turning them into the American Phoenix and the Russian Badger. Both sides even utilize civilian vans that are retrofitted with armor and a remote-controlled NG, turning the van into the Rhino. These battles occur on the earthquake-wrecked land, where we see tired and wounded soldiers continue to fight for survival. The fight for territory spans from Tehran to Yazd, Iran. The epicenter of the earthquake takes place in the Tehran province, in the city south of the Alborz Mountains. The first map part of this DLC features a mix of destructible urban environments and tight close quarters combat, with just a few areas open enough to operate vehicles. This map highlights the game's Frostbite engine with many walls to blow up and create new paths. The second location that US forces battled the Russians is near where Blackburn first deployed. It takes place in a city with large commercial buildings. The locals called it Supernova Center, also known as Marquez Monolith. It's similar to Epicenter but with a few more larger buildings you can get on top of the roofs. The fighting also takes place in a fortified Iranian parliament building known as Freedom Palace, aka Azadi Palace. It's a very maze-like design map. Another key battle that took place during the earthquake aftermath was an American offensive towards Russian-controlled territory in Yazd, Iran. It takes place in the Golden Market, aka Tala Market. The Russians initially were in control of the market square, courtyard, the park, Main Street, and the nearby suburb. The entire location was invaded by US ground forces, attacking from the north, making the market a heavily contested gray zone. Alright, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Peace out.